story's just minutes away, but first, an AM original, something you'll see only here on American Morning. The suspected Times Square bomber faces arraignment in a New York courtroom today. Faisal Shahzad will be asked to enter a plea to 10 weapons and terror charges. At the same time, many of his fellow Pakistani Americans are still struggling to understand why he and their own children are turning against America. Deb Fayerick has more. John, Kieran, parents have a tough challenge shielding their kids from negative influences, keeping them on the straight and narrow. But when those children are marginalized because of their dual identities, whether it be nationality or religion, the challenge is even greater. The night of the attempted Times Square bombing, the question everyone had was, who did it? When news broke of the arrest of Faisal Shahzad, a Connecticut man from a prominent Pakistani family, it underscored this mom's fears.
There was this shock that overcame me. It was this sinking feeling in my stomach that this is another Muslim and he's of Pakistani heritage.
Raising teenage boys is challenging enough. But for Yusra, Anis-Anwar, and her husband, who are both doctors in Connecticut, the thought anyone in their upscale, educated community could be radicalized to the extent of committing a terrorist act is alarming.
We need to find out what is causing this so we can better manage this and prevent this from happening to our own children.
Hartford's Pakistani American community recently held a de-radicalization conference with cult expert Michael Langoni. People are thinking, maybe radicalization has some cult-like elements to it. How do you see it?
A radicalization is a form of conversions, like religious conversion. And I think in normal conversions, we have an inner-generated conversion. It emerges from the person. In cultic conversions, and I suspect in terrorist radicalization, there is someone who wants to use this person as an object, has to change him, has to get him to become compliant, to become a deployable agent.
There are some people who are right outside of the norms of the faith, who are in a cult-like mindsets.
For these parents, fear for their kids comes from other areas too.
We have gone through enough. So much pain, so much sadness.
13-year-old Saud Anwar, who sent President Obama this poem he wrote about the Iraq War, says he has been bullied at school and called a terrorist. Then, on a recent family trip to Egypt, he was stopped by TSA and searched.
The guy asked me my ethnicity first. I said, American. And he said, no, before that. And so my dad said, from Pakistan. So then he immediately took me and my dad aside.
We have to make sure that they aren't being harassed. We have to make sure that they are comfortable with who they are so that they become immune to anyone who is attempting to radicalize children who are feeling marginalized or alienated.
Yusra Anis-Anwar keeps the lines of communication open with her boys and insists she approve English translations of Islamic texts they might read.
Our challenge is to tell them that this is wrong and that they have to research anything that they hear that really does not promote love of all creatures and tolerance and justice.
Cult experts say young people are drawn to extremist groups for the following reasons: revenge-seeking, status-seeking, and in some cases, thrill-seeking. The key is to monitor any changes in behavior, especially withdrawal, and intervene as soon as possible. John, Kieran.
Deb Fayerick this morning. Deb, thanks. Crossing the half hour.